If Planet X is having an effect on the Earth's seismic and volcanic activity, then it must be on the move and close enough to the Earth to create a gravitational pull. But when will Planet X actually arrive? In theory, it is impossible to set an exact date for its arrival. Some have foolishly tried, but to no avail. Its arrival is not on our timetable. Planet X is a system that is accompanied by 7 orbital bodies. Every one of these 7 bodies has a unique orbit, and Nibiru itself has a unique path. No one can predict all of their paths and how they will affect this world. When people mix truth with lies, predicting a date that is unfounded, it leads people to believe that everything associated with this passage is fabricated. If we were to envision an apocalyptic eruption of Mount Agung, which is presently on high alert, it would probably come as no surprise to the Hindus of Bali, who revere the mountain and consider it to be sacred. It is on the slopes of this sacred place that the end of days will play out, when the skies will darken with dust and ash. Experts who study the Earth's geological features are predicting that we are entering into a period of upheaval, a time of increased seismic and volcanic unrest. The effects of an incoming celestial presence has begun. We see it happening in Bali and all over the world. The Earth is heating up, and there are many more earthquakes in recent times than ever before. In addition to the changes happening on Earth, in our atmosphere the radiation is increasing, which is having a profound effect on the planet. Cosmic rays from deep space are increasing almost unabated as the sun's magnetic field weakens. If you follow the media narrative on what is happening in the stratosphere, the reason that the radiation is increasing is entirely due to the sun entering into a solar minimum, a period in the sun's 11-year cycle where cosmic ray intensity is much higher. The narrative would have you believe that increased seismic and volcanic activity can be attributed to the increase in cosmic rays as a result of decreased solar activity. The problem with this narrative is that it does not explain why earthquake activity has been on a significant upward trend since 1965, or why the Ring of Fire unrest was beginning to peak long before the solar minimum kicked into gear. Furthermore, it does not take into account that the Earth is reeling like a drunken sailor, causing the oceans to quickly retreat and then return with a fury weeks later. All the while, the Earth's jet stream is moving erratically, causing the world's climate to shift into a state of chaos. These are events that are not directly related to the behavior of our sun, but are attributed to a yearly increase of cosmic rays that are coming from space, which in turn has caused an increase in radiation levels, as shown for 2017. In November, a report by the International Business Times indicated that mysterious cosmic rays are slamming the Earth, and that scientists do not know their origin. The cosmic rays, known as positrons, are powerful particles that can result in the production of energy, including gamma rays. According to a study published in the journal Science, these particles are exotic in nature, which hints that they may actually be coming from a dark star. So if we are to consider the narrative that the Earth is being blasted by cosmic rays from our inactive sun, then we must also consider the report which indicates that cosmic rays from somewhere beyond our sun are suddenly hitting the earth in great numbers. We are standing at the doorstep of a great transformation as we prepare for the earth changes that are ahead of us. I cannot stress nearly enough how virtually important it is for each man, woman, and child to prepare themselves both physically and spiritually for the time of tribulation, which has already begun. It is a time to come out of the dark, where confusion and uncertainty loom over us, and enter into the light with a watchful eye and a prayerful heart. Disinformation is as old as history itself. Regardless of what may be happening on Earth,
that has sustained winds in the ranges of 50 to 60, even we've seen 70 and 80 miles an hour. And generally these wind events last for a day or 2 or 3 days, but this event has been going on for almost a week now.
You know, the LA Fire Index, LA Fire Burn Index is the highest it's ever been projected. An extreme reading is 162. You know what it is today? 296.
In Ventura, just north of Los Angeles, there a state of emergency has been declared. But actually here in the city, the affluent, infamous neighborhood of Bel Air is currently being threatened. Those multi-million-dollar mansions that celebrities are living in.
Entire neighborhoods in the city of Ventura have now been wiped off the map.
Several homes in this community were incinerated, while others just down the street were untouched,
spreading across hundreds of miles of dry terrain.
Wow, look at this.
A fiery hellscape. One of the nation's busiest highways transformed under that orange haze.
You're in absolute awe of the veracity of this type of an incident. Really, words, I think the pictures do it more justice, because I don't know if I can eloquently put into words the magnitude of what we're seeing.
And as if the fires really weren't enough to contend with, an earthquake struck near Malibu. The U.S. Geological Survey has reported that a 3.3 magnitude quake hit about 12:44 this morning.
An earthquake rattled Julian early this morning.
We have security video inside Mountain Spirits Liquor. The owner says he felt it.
The magnitude 4 quake hit at 4:30 was followed shortly by a 3.0 quake. This quake follows a series of other earthquakes that have hit that same area over the past few days. Numerous people in the Los Angeles area, including celebrities, evacuating their homes amid the wildfires there. We have a liberal anti-Trump comic, Chelsea Handler, blaming it on the president. Chelsea Handler tweeting out, quote, "Just evacuated my house. It's like Donald Trump is setting the world on fire, literally and figuratively." Handler tweeted yesterday, "Stay safe, everyone. Dark times."
As California wildfires blaze into a fourth day, at least one person's been killed so far. The fires are raging from Los Angeles to San Diego, and they're being fanned by powerful winds.
Visible from the space station, the air quality so toxic, more than 400 schools are closed. Stretches of Highway 101 were shut down.
I've been here 30 years, and I've never saw anything like this.
With 20,000 homes still in the path of fire, tonight the battle has just begun.
A San Diego man found himself face to face with the flames, and he barely made it out alive.
10 News reporter Bree Steffen talked to him about the close call with the Lilac fire that destroyed his car and his livelihood.
Anthony is used to being close to danger.
I've always shot news.
He's a photographer in San Diego County.
I work for On Scene TV.
But Thursday was the first time he was ever scared for his life. He was here near West Lilac Road when the wildfire started. His car got stuck when he tried to leave, forcing him to make a life-saving split-second decision.
All of a sudden, I couldn't see anything. It was like I couldn't see the front of my hood. It was just gray and orange.
His car seconds later, along with all his equipment, thousands of dollars worth.
Have one radio and my press pass.
But like many other people who are trying to figure out how to replace the things that the fire took from them, Anthony says he won't give up his passion.
Oh yeah, I'm still gonna do this. I've worked too hard at it. It's what I do.
Anthony says the only thing salvageable from his car was a Bible. Even his fire gear was destroyed.
If you think you
on the earth. But as this generation passes away, the inhabitants of the new millennia will inherit what the ancients had warned will come to pass, a time of great trouble and turmoil. There is something very strange that is happening within the earth that has the scientific community very worried. There is concern that the coming year may herald in a time of great seismic and volcanic unrest, unlike anything this generation has witnessed. Much of what we know today paints a bleak picture for humanity. The Earth's atmosphere, its oceans, its land masses, and all manner of wildlife now lie in the balance. There is a time when the earth must take back all that it has given, a time of renewal. And so it has begun. The theory that something is pulling and tugging at the Earth's magnetic field is not an idea that is far-fetched. It is ingrained in scientific analysis and study. If you were to believe that the sun, in all its powerful grandeur, is capable of influencing the behavior of the earth and the sustainability of life, then we must also consider the probability that other forces outside the realm of our knowledge and understanding may actually be determining the behavior of the earth. As remote as it may seem to some, the unrest that is developing today, especially in the vulnerable regions of the Pacific Ring of Fire, may be attributed to the proximity of Planet X to the Earth. NASA still claims that this theory is unfounded, regardless of their continued discovery of new planets and a solar system in our backyard. What is so disheartening about the increase in seismic and volcanic activity is that scientists are hard-pressed to find an explanation for the current wave of activity. They just cannot admit to the probability of something outside of the norm as being responsible for these events. There are a number of reports that recently surfaced that provide some insight into the trouble we are facing in the next few years. Here are some of the more troubling observations that provide a clear picture of what I am referring to. Off the coast of the Antarctic Peninsula is a landmass called Deception Island. On this island lurks a flooded caldera of an active volcano, which is home to more than 50 volcanic craters. New research indicates that if a significant ash eruption occurred here, it would disrupt air traffic across much of the southern hemisphere. That includes South America, Africa, and Australia. Now, as remote as this volcano may seem, it could have an effect across much of the world. In fact, Deception Island has a unique history of eruptions, with 30 explosions occurring in the past 10,000 years, and the most recent having occurred in 1970. So it is common knowledge that an enormous ash cloud would have the potential to disrupt or even shut down air traffic across the globe for an extended period of time, which could have an enormous impact on the global economy. Scientists are voicing their concerns about the increasing likelihood of a supervolcanic eruption. Not far from Naples, Italy, lies a volcano named Campi Flegrei. For the past 60 years, it has been showing signs of a major magmatic eruption. And this sign, like seismic activity, land deformation, and gas chemistry, has been accelerating since 2012. This video simulation shows what an incoming eruption could resemble. If it were to erupt, there are some 1 million people living in proximity to the volcano that would be forced to evacuate. In the worst-case scenario, Naples, which is one of the most important areas for European culture in the last 1,000 years, could suffer the same fate of Pompeii. The prognosis of such an eruption is not pretty, as a cataclysmic blast from this volcano would be devastating. If we go back in history some 200,000 years ago, this supervolcano blackened the skies of the entire planet, causing a worldwide volcanic winter and nearly wiping out all life on Earth. A large rogue entity lurking somewhere in our solar system would have an electromagnetic effect on the Sun and therefore on planet Earth. Its presence would heat the core and cause the displacement of magma. In August of this year, the eclipse that traversed the United States became the harbinger for the arrival of Planet X. These and other theories of a wandering body were given a boost in October when NASA announced the discovery of a new planet in our solar system. After many years of denying and debunking, scientists confirmed the existence of a ninth planet that conforms to popular theories of a planet named Nibiru. On October 4th, NASA published a press release stating that it had discovered unmistakable evidence of a ninth planet in the far extremes of space, orbiting the solar system. The planet is surmised to be 10 times the mass of Earth, but it has yet to be seen since its elliptical orbit is estimated to be about 60 billion miles from the Sun. The description of the new planet conforms so closely to the predictions of Nibiru that NASA was forced to release a cosmic disclaimer, claiming that the object will never collide with the Earth or bring days of darkness. Even the head researcher, astronomer Mike Brown, was compelled to tweet a dismissal of the Nibiru theory. Supporters of the Planet X theory are nonetheless skeptical of NASA's disclaimer, and for very good reasons. They have been denying the existence of Planet X for years, and suddenly they announce they found it. They say that Nibiru doesn't exist, while at the same time they announce a new planet. They are no longer arguing about the existence of Planet X, only about its name and what to call it. The reason behind this alleged deception is clear. NASA is trying to avoid generating panic. They haven't sighted the new planet yet, so it is impossible for them to know if its orbit will intersect with the Earth's orbit. There is a bit of speculation regarding the origin of the newly discovered Planet 9. It may be a refugee from the solar system, or it may be a rogue from the outer realms that was captured by the Sun's gravity. But one thing is clear. You do not need a scientific mind to understand what is going on here, and something very serious is definitely happening. The elements of nature, as well as the actions of humanity, are transforming the earth as we know it. With these changes comes the discovery of new planets in our solar system that are intended to usher in a new age. We are seeing the effects of these wandering bodies all across the world. Whether you accept the theory that a mysterious electromagnetic influence is to blame, the world is witnessing an epidemic of seismic activity. In the last 30 days, California has had more than 700 tremors. Yellowstone has had one of its most active seismic cycles in recorded history, with nearly 2,500 events since June of 2017. Mexico was hit by 2 devastating earthquakes in the same month, in September of this year. Not long ago, the border between Iraq and Iran suffered a 7.4 magnitude quake, the most powerful earthquake to hit the region in recorded history. All of these events point to something happening that even scientists are hard-pressed to explain.
Some strange balls of fire in the sky last night, and you were like, wait a second, did I really see that? No, your eyes were not playing tricks on you. NASA confirming at least 65 fireballs were seen across Florida skies just after sunset.
That's right. After catching the supermoon a couple of days ago, Southwest Floridians getting another astronomical spectacle last night.
6:33 Tuesday night, you had to be...
A flying ball of fire lighting up the Florida sky. Shayna Crowley saw it.
I noticed a big bright light.
Only for a moment.
Flashed really big and it disappeared.
On December 2nd, Sergeant Michael Verga with the Hamilton Township Police Department was working the overnight shift.
I was just patrolling the neighborhood
when he decided to turn down Drosera Avenue,
trying to keep the neighborhood safe.
Minutes after 3 in the morning, pitch black, this road has no lights, when suddenly a flash in the sky and the sergeant's dash cam captured everything.
When you're on patrol or on the shift, you tend to see some strange things from time to time.
But this streak was something different.
I was trying to process exactly what I was looking at. I didn't hear any noise, which I would probably associate with it actually striking the ground here.
It likely was thousands of miles away and fully disintegrated before it hit Earth, but it did leave behind more than a memory for Sergeant Verga and his department.
I've never seen anything like that before in my entire life.
But first, a very different side of nature, an early December snowstorm in an unlikely place.
Crazy stuff going on. Matt Bonner tweeting this video from San Antonio, south of us tonight. The snow sticking to cars, sticking to the ground, sticking to everything.
Texas, you heard that right. Woke up to a rare winter wonderland. Can you believe this? This was the scene last night in College Station, Texas. There was also some snow in Houston and San Antonio.
It is here from fire to ice this morning. Snow fell in Houston for the first time in 7 years. Up to 3 inches fell in the city, which could be a record.
Just last week, New Delhi was literally shut down as a result of smog generated from fires in the rural countryside. Hundreds of schools were closed. There was road chaos on the streets. And it's not just Delhi. Cities across China, parts of South Asia, are having experiences that are reminiscent of those of the industrial age 100 years ago in Western Europe.
Shankar, we all know that 2016 was the hottest year on record, 13% drop in the Arctic ice in the past decade. You have discussed the shortage in water supplies. How imminent is this crisis? When we will see the catastrophe? Is it in our lifetime? Is it in our kids' lifetime?
I think we live in it today already. I wouldn't say it's coming somehow in the future. We literally live in it. We feel it. If you look at the freshwater shortages, if you look at the water security risk around the world, no single country or region could escape from it. So it's already happening. It's not a challenge for tomorrow. It's already a challenge of today.
Taken in April of 2017. The video garnered a great deal of attention and is one of the most convincing captures of the star system that I have analyzed over the years. The brown dwarf, in a very rare appearance as it orbits our sun in retrograde fashion. What is being called a trilogy of supermoons are happening in sequence. The first one was visible on December 3rd of this year, followed by another one January 1st, 2018, and again on January 31st. The latter will be a blood red moon, featuring a total lunar eclipse in which the moon will gradually get darker and take on the rusty red color during the eclipse. The phenomena of the two suns continues to make headlines across the globe. An incredible sighting occurred in the sky over Colorado on December 3rd. Some observers have suggested that this is the supermoon rising above the sun as it was setting, mimicking the appearance of two suns in the sky. It may seem that this is what was captured, but it would depend entirely on the direction of the moon orbit inclination. What we know about the December 3rd supermoon was that the full moon and the sun were not visible at the same time above the equator. So only those who live in the southern hemisphere would have seen both in the sky at the same time. This according to a reliable report by Space.com. So the probability that these images are showing a union of the sun and moon in the northern hemisphere is therefore not possible. So what are we seeing then, if not the moon? This image was posted in March, showing the moon in perpendicular alignment with the sun prior to sunset. The moon in the image appears to be nearly full and appearing on the same side of the trees as the sun. Everything about this photo seems unlikely. A full moon or a supermoon would be close to the horizon opposite of the sun, not directly over the sun in perfect alignment. Furthermore, if the moon were full, as shown here, it cannot appear in unison because the moon would have to be facing the sun for it to be fully illuminated. Now, take a look at this phenomenal video from World of Signs of the second sun capture from Colorado, which was published on December 4th. And take into account the published report, which indicates that the sun and the moon are only visible at the same time from the southern hemisphere during this video capture. There are many phenomenal events that impress and baffle us at the same time. On December 7th, a complex sun halo was seen in the sky over Whitefish, Montana. This is called a diamond dust halo, a ground-level cloud that is composed of miniature ice crystals which form under mostly clear skies. There is something very unique about this particular sun halo. Other than it being a sight to behold, it looks to be appearing in the form of a dream catcher, which in Native American culture represents the circle of life and how forces such as our sun and the moon travel across the sky each day and night. A week earlier, On December 1st, a stunning sun halo appeared in Vemdalen, Sweden, which displayed a parhelic circle and a tangent arc, as shown here.